A snarl, and they're upon him. An ancient forest spirit at his heels. The only escape is in the Toyota BZ Woodland. John Cho stars in Camping. Test drive Toyota's new all-electric family today. Toyota, let's go places. A colossal monster tearing through the streets. A city in ruins. Nowhere to hide. Until he finds a way out behind the wheel of the all-electric Toyota CHR. Instant torque, getaway handling, and immeasurable wow factor. John Cho stars in Escape. Experience the thrill. Test drive Toyota's new all-electric family at your local dealer. Toyota, let's go places.
Edit audio.
Hello, everyone. I'm Robin Hopkins, and this is Well Adjusting, where I talk to people about life stuff, but not in an NPR way. It's more like we're at the bar, having cocktails, getting into your business sort of way.
It's giving drunk NPR.
Oh, and producer Steph is here too.
Hello.
Today we chat, well, when the state of the job market is bringing you down. Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Well Adjusting. Today we are talking about the thing that we're all talking about, jobs, the market, how crappy it is, AI, and how we're all afraid it's going to take our jobs. Joining us is Laura. Now, she is an actress, and she also works in a creative industry as a copywriter. So she's getting squeezed by AI in all directions, and she's just thinking about how things are going to evolve as we go. Well, ain't we all? So if you're in a job where you're always looking around the corner for the next layoff, the next AI mandate, this chat's for you. Okay, let's get to Laura.
Hi, my name is Laura Ornella. I'm a New York-based actor, writer, and filmmaker.
What are we talking about today?
We are talking about my double life in entertainment and in advertising.
Mm-hmm.
What started as a day job has now consumed me just as much as the job that is consuming of being a creative in entertainment. And that's not what day jobs should do. So yeah, we're just trying to find the balance.
What's your day job too?
Right. So my day job is as a copywriter. It's tough because I didn't think I would like it as much as I did starting out. I didn't really even know why I wanted to do it other than I was just waiting tables and bartending for a decade. And so how I got into all of this was through satire and then running around just saying I wanted to be a copywriter. I never really understood what it was. And even when I started working my first job, I didn't have the fundamentals to understand it. And now that I understand it, I have grown to really like it. However, to stay competitive in this industry, it does take up a lot of time. It has ballooned, just like any other industry now, like entertainment. You're expected to have a podcast, do stand-up. It's the same with advertising. And I had no idea that you're expected to have a LinkedIn persona. And, I'm so grateful that I've taken the leap. I think it's really interesting in a lot of ways. I just completed a night school. It was like an 8-month night school, but the expectations are beyond. And when I think about people who are a lot younger than me, it must be just so intimidating because I guess now I'm 35 and I can learn to build upon what I have. But when I see somebody coming straight out of college who's just really struggling to cultivate a solid headline. And now they're inundated with AI usage on top of that, because that's going to be a part of your portfolio, like a skill you have to showcase on your resume. I think, oh man, I'm kind of lucky because I got to learn how to write before we were ever using AI. And now if I have to use it, okay, fine. But also I can return back to the years where I didn't have to rely on it.
Yeah, we had to grind it out.
Yeah, and there's a lot of kids I went to school with in that night school who I know firsthand never wrote independently and were just using ChatGPT to generate these headlines. And you can tell.
It's funny because my kids are in high school and I'm always really hesitant. And I'm like, do I get in there and handle this? And to a certain extent, I'm not when I see that kid is doing some of this because I'm like, that is going to be their existence. Like, you know, that is going to be how they work. Like, I believe that in 3 years, by the time that one's in college, it's going to look differently. How they're tested, how they learn, what their output is, how they're measured is going to be different, because I always think of AI like the record label in the 90s, in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like the record industry tried to fight the downloading and they lost, and they were behind a decade because of that. So it's like, I'm of two minds of it, but I also understand exactly what you're saying about the loss of real work. It's a different thought process. It's queuing something versus being able to craft something. And you're right, you're better being able to do both.
I won't lie. Like, I have had to use AI for my portfolio. You have to use it in this industry to stay competitive. But at the same time, I feel like if it were all gone tomorrow, I'd be okay. And also, like, it hasn't influenced my work throughout. Like, any company you work for now in advertising is using AI to at least to a low level. But I think that there's a dependence that happens. And I've been reading so much about the brain and how I started to do it, like second guess myself with my writing. It's hard because if it weren't ever forced upon me, I probably would have never used it. But there was no way around it when it controls your paycheck. And you do have to stay employed at a certain point.
Yeah. I'm looking at like, how do I address my jobs? Because so as a podcast producer, like how I make my day job money, as an actor, as a copywriter, how many more jobs? Like, I just saw this whole thing of a middle income actor is disappearing, much like in jobs. It feels like that's the crisis, but I also don't want to put a problem in your mouth. So I want to know if that's what's going on for you.
Well, I think when we originally spoke, my problem was less about AI, which is huge, totally like 3 a.m. thoughts for sure. My problem was more the expectations that we are holding for people in the industry, kind of regardless of the industry you're in at this point. There was a time where doing one thing well was enough. People, posting on LinkedIn saying, oh, it's so valuable to have a niche. But is it? Because everyone can feel the panic. And really what I want to talk about is the job market. Because, I mean, granted, being an actor has always been tough. But
yeah, that job market has never been good, never will.
Never been good.
Because they will always have more people than they want or need.
Yeah, but it's happening in every industry now. And I think we really
Yes.
have to start acknowledging, what are we doing? Just sending kids to college and not growing our job market at all. There will never be enough jobs for how many college educated students we have, and we're cutting junior positions because of AI. Where is this all going? I mean, every time I log on to LinkedIn, let me just say, I've only ever gotten like one job at random, like through a recruiter. I've never gotten a job where I didn't know someone. And the rat race has just continued, where you have to be like a hawk. You can't never be looking for a job at this point. Like, you have to be like a hawk. You have to have about 4 different side gigs.
Resumes. You gotta
And resumes. And every time you're on there, it's within like an hour. Over 100 people have applied, and they don't even tell you the real number because they don't want you to know and be discouraged.
And it's more now that people can work from home. Like, now that there's some remote positions, I think it's even more. And I think what's also disheartening too is the expectations of people applying for jobs. There's now, it used to be, I mean, I feel like in advertising, it was more common. Acting, surely 95% of what we do is on spec. It's like I probably do 200 auditions a year.
Which isn't right either.
No, it's not. You do like 200 to maybe book 1 or 2 a year. And you're just like, well, okay. But now it's like people are asking you to do a presentation. I just was talking to somebody who was trying to get a producer job, and they asked him to give notes on 7 2-hour podcasts. 7 2-hour podcasts.
It's free labor. That's what it is.
Yes. So it's like the industry is really bad, and it does start to feel like, I think this is what ties back to the AI a little bit, is maybe embracing everything. But like, is there a tipping point for how workers are being treated?
It's already happening in some ways. I mean, people do talk, and I think the biggest thing I've learned, be it in acting or advertising, is to make friends in those industries. I mean, real authentic friends. I'm not talking like, just a networking moment, which those are great and they can lead to something, but people who would like really go to bat for you. And those are also simultaneously how you get your gigs, of course. But I do feel like having that community, it's people definitely talk to each other about these gigs. I mean, you have a company on your profile or you've been working with certain director. I mean, people will ask you about that and word gets around.
A colossal monster, a city in ruins, no way out, except inside of the all-electric Toyota CHR. John Cho stars in Escape. Test drive Toyota's new all-electric family today. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey friend, I'm just jumping in here to say that we've got a new way to get in touch with us. If you want to leave us some feedback, hopefully good, or suggest an episode topic or ask a question, all you have to do is go to sayhi.chat/welladjusting. The link's in the show notes, but I'll say it one more time. sayhi.chat/welladjusting. You could leave us a voice memo and we might just use it on air. And if you happen to be enjoying this episode, why not go ahead and subscribe to the podcast or rate and review us? You won't regret it, folks. I spent like 19 years at Viacom during the heyday of MTV and VH1 and all of that stuff. And I watched the top because I was the assistant to the president of one of the channels. And so I had purview into like the way that the C-suite thinks. And I'll tell you what, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about you. They are sharecropping and they are thinking quarter to quarter. So they're going to lay off people to make it look like they have more money coming in. And then they think, if we need it, we'll pick somebody back up. It's like, we're not going to cut too deep. It'll be fine. They don't care. And I've always approached business like Steph is one of the few bosses, my old boss, Tom Calderon, shout out Tom Calderon, Judy McGrath, Van Toffler. There's a handful of people I've worked under in my 35 years of working that were bosses who really care about their employees and who care about the environment with which they live. I think it is a disservice for anyone to think or to act as if it's any different than that. Like, to me, it's like you got to show up to your job and make it work for you as long as it works. And then the second it doesn't, leave and don't think anything about it, unless it's working for Steph, Tom Calderon, Judy McGrath, or Van Toffler. Unless it's those people, just go. You could be 6 months pregnant and you are a line on a spreadsheet to a lot of people. And I think that that's hard for people to hear, but I think it's the reality of the workplace. And I think it's only getting worse.
You're correct. I think where I come from on that take is that, well, I guess I feel like eventually the companies will reflect the talent they hold because they can't keep good talent, I do feel though, like, not to say that like Viacom is like tumbling down anytime soon, but it's not like anyone's doing anything innovative over there. So I get what you're saying, but I think in terms of where things are going, I don't know, you can't just be like a dusty C-suite employee and think that you're going to just be able to maintain what you have without ever updating your product. And that's what a lot of these companies do. They keep doing the same cycle, like you said, and that's fine, but it'll only last for so long.
I think the problem is, though, is like, because I also worked at Spotify for like 4 years and I don't give a fuck about blowing them up. But like one of the head of HR said something along the lines of like, we get 1,000 resumes for every position we post. And I remember having a conversation with her and I said, does it not concern you? And again, this is a statistic for this time and place, that the average person works at this company for 15 months. Like there is a mathematical like cost ratio for how long it takes to bring a person up to speed. In a place like a tech company like Spotify, it was like 4 to 6 months just getting your feet on the ground, figuring out what all these departments do with all the verticals and what a mountain bet is versus a company bet versus a this, so there's that time. You're getting maximum efficiency out of your employee for the money you're paying them, and then they're leaving. So if they're there for 15 months, you're paying them for 15 months, you're getting 9 months of work out of them. Does that not concern you? And she was like, nope. And I was like, okay. And it's like, and this was me talking directly to C-suite being like, people are miserable here. Like, this is like how you work. And they did not care. And they didn't have to because Spotify is hot. I mean, I guess we're at a crux in the conversation of like, do you accept that's business? Can you still hope to bring change? And then how do you bring it in your individual life? And I'm curious for you, are you more of like, I want change? And then like, how does it affect you when you 5 o'clock, or let's be honest, it's New York, 6 or 7, like when you wrap your day and you go home, does it stay with you?
I think you can have it all in that way. I think you can accept it's the now, but also like be realistic that these companies will change. The work will change. Generations cycling out, that is going to happen. Ethics and morals follow that. So I think that that's kind of where I stand. I agree with everything you said. I mean, you do have to realistically look at your job and know what it does for you and what it doesn't, and always be planning like for your safety and security of the future. Totally agree. I think hope is good. I think it's really good. I don't want to like take away hope. It's really hard not to take the work home with you. For acting, I mean, it's so emotional. It's so personal. It's so vulnerable. For advertising, well, I do work at home, so it is like already home with me. And also it is personal in a lot of ways because it's your style, your take. This is not necessarily a strategy or a logic position where there are hard facts with it necessarily. But I think at the end of the day, you really just have to learn to not give a fuck and also know that whatever industry you're in, you're going to have like-minded people and people who just don't get it. And that's okay.
That's good. But I'm just asking, are you managing that balance? Are you able to?
Oh, I mean, it's so hard. Yeah, no, I'm like really sensitive. Of course, I struggle with it. I think it depends on if the sun is shining. I think it depends on if I've gotten approval that day. That's wired in me. But no, it's extremely hard. I think one thing I've really been struggling with is it's not a bad thing to have a mediocre life.
Ooh, say more about that. I'm really curious because your wording made me go like this.
If you've been applauded for anything you've done in comedy or acting, but encouraged to pursue it, I think it's followed with the expectation that you'll be excellent at it and you'll be revered for that. And we are at a time where you can be excellent at things and people can never notice you, or
it doesn't matter anymore, to be truthful.
No, if you give you the opportunities you deserve, like we just don't have enough room for everyone.
And just to be more like, people fail upward every damn day.
Oh, they sure do. And that's hard to watch. But that being said, I've just really tried to look at my life and be like, it is probably pretty average, but that is like so much more than so many other people have access to. And I can like sit here and do this podcast with you. And how many people can really say that they even get that? And that's hard because looking at my life, I'm like, oh, this is it?
What's so interesting, like first of all, I love this concept, and it's currently one like I'm smack dab in the middle of. For me, it's like, what did I expect was going to happen, and when will I say I did it? And again, I'm a little bit older than you, but it's like, and I'm trying to be like, will there be a moment where I'll be like, I did it? And so I fucking love this concept, and I love that at 35 you're going over it. I do want to say, I feel like the word mediocre and the word average are a little mean to you.
Why?
Given like you are sitting there, because mediocre implies meh. Like
sometimes
average is
meh.
Is it meh if like someone said to me, if you 5 years ago looked at your life today, what would you think? And I was like, damn, I'd be like so proud of all the things I got because I was trying to get half the things that I have today. 5 years ago, Robin wouldn't call it mediocre. She'd be like, you finally got a fucking legit agent. You also have a commercial agent and you have like 5 years ago, Robin would be like, you fucking killed it. But today, Robin is like, well, but now what? And so I think I'm just like, the wording just feels a little mean.
I think that's fair. I think like we can focus on the word average, and average being the fact that like when you look at a celebrity's life, that is above average. That is like,
or is atypical?
Atypical. Yeah.
Average implies above, better than.
They are above average financially.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yes.
When we think of average, maybe my focus is on the finances. Maybe it is on the accolades as well. It's not, sure, like love, connection, community. Those are always above average in my world.
And I don't know, is Jennifer Aniston happy? She probably is. I bet she is.
Well, we hope, right? But in terms of limitations, financially, career-wise, like that's a reality for me. It's not a reality for her. And so I guess that's how I would label like, okay, yeah, she like got that above average existence, you know?
I guess the question I would ask you is, let's just say you have to retire tomorrow or you have to retire in 5 years and you get to retire in 5 years. But what you accomplish or what you get to do, I like to say get to do because accomplish implies like you tried and you did it. Whereas in all the fields, like whether or not you get to work, someone else tells you. So like say you get to do certain things. Is there a list of things that you would say to this person who's about to hand you this magic key? I would like to have gotten to do these 5 things before I retire and go travel and hike because we've got Jennifer Aniston money? Or would you be like, I'm just, in 5 years, I'm good. It's like, it's not about the things that I've gotten to do.
I've never really been sure about fame. Like I meet a lot of people who are like, I want to be famous. And I've never really, I'm like, if that happened, I would probably accept it, but it's never been something I've been gunning after. Like I have a lot of friends who are like, that is their goal. I think for me, it is about doing more, having access to do more, having the funds to do more. When I think about the list of projects like on my board, all of that requires thousands of dollars. Yeah, that I don't have access to. So like if I had Jennifer Aniston money, I mean, I think about this all the time.
Oh my God, I would just make my own shit 24/7. I would just hire all my fucking really talented friends and make shit.
That's all I care about.
But I don't even care about the fame because honestly, like who can live under that scrutiny? Like sometimes I'm a dick and I don't want a lot of people walking around being like, she was so mean to me on the subway. Because by the way, I might have been. But I think what's wonderful, Laura, about what you're saying is that you know the things. It's like it does feel like there's someone or something or circumstances like you can't quite get to do the things you want to do, or you're worried that you might not be able to do them for much longer, whether it's AI or whether it's jobs disappearing.
Let me say this, it really is for me about making the stuff, but I can't guarantee that the industries will stay. But I do have to almost just like take the leap and hope that the water is there.
Do you make your own stuff?
So I've made a few films, short films. My most recent one is called Diane De Niro. It's about an actor who's, a disgruntled actor who decides to change her last name to De Niro to score better auditions.
That's fun. And so you wrote it, you made it, you did the whole shebang.
I did.
When you're feeling like things are out of control, do you lean into making more stuff?
No, I feel like when things are in control, I'm able to make more stuff. I feel like when things are out of control, I'm trying to maintain. My head is elsewhere, money, whatever. When I have a system in place, it's like, okay, everything's chill. We can do the 11th draft, but I can't even touch that, if I'm frantic, if I'm stressed.
Does doing the work help you stay in the place longer?
Yeah, I mean, I guess some of it's out of my control. It's like, life and day job and stuff like that. But it's always great to have a ritual, I think. And when you can have like writing as a ritual. I won't even bring up the actual filmmaking part because I think that's always going to be stressful and chaotic, no matter what.
Always being in the process of doing the thing you want to do. I think it's hard, and that's why we avoid it sometimes. But I think that hard space is the space that keeps us grounded and feeling optimistic.
That's totally it. And it's like your well of inspiration has run dry. Rush to the nearest art museum and get something.
Yeah. It's like the people who are always like, I don't have anything to write. I'm like, you won't until you sit down in front of a paper and sit and just stare at it. Like, and then something will come. But nothing comes if you're doing your laundry. Well, I mean, sometimes you get those like shower thoughts. But I mean, like, you have to struggle through the idea.
Sitting down to the page, totally get it. But at the same time, like, if I don't have something that's driving me or motivating me, what am I even... I don't even want to know what I'm going to write.
Steph, what are your thoughts?
AI is AIing. I think being a creative is always hard. I think I could be better at having the things that you guys have that are like practice of creative work, because I get the same way. Like when I'm stressed out, it would be beneficial for me to be working on something that was mine, but instead I just like loop on the stressed out thing.
Let's say there's someone who's tuning in and they're in this place where they're like, I'm not feeling stable in my job. I mean, I just read this New York Times article where they were like, companies are embracing the massive layoffs. And I was like, were they not doing that before, New York Times? And apparently now they're just like, yes, but bigger. And so this person is not feeling comfortable. They're nervous. They're young. They're like, how am I getting to the end of my career? What would you say to them? I mean, I think I would first say, what is it that you love and how do you keep that in your life? Like not letting the man, in quotes, hold you down and be, because I mean, this is all assuming that you have enough food, you have resources, you have, this is assuming that. Like, I think that's the first thing I would say is not let your work life be your whole life and figure out how at the same time to keep relevant, to be connected to how industries are changing and to build your life fully and completely. And then hold on. That's the only thing I know to do because so much of this is out of control. But what would you two say?
I feel personally like when you were saying that, I was thinking instead of like someone listening, I was thinking about me like 10 years ago. And like, I don't think that I've ever felt like I have a stable career. And I don't know if that's a me thing or if that's just like a human nature thing or what. Like I will say I've also never had like a traditional career and I've worked for myself, which is always unstable or like comes with fluctuating stability. I think the last few years have been like harder than ever, but they've also been easier than ever in other ways. So like, I don't know. I think I just try to focus on the things that I do love. Like I would never say that I have a mediocre life. Like, I get to do, like, weird fucking things all the time. I live the weirdest, like, I live in New York. We all live in New York. We all are, like, making stuff for a living. Like, I don't know. I think a lot of that is perspective. And I think that, I don't know that I've ever lost sight of that. Because I don't know if it's always coming from a good place. I'm very, very grateful for the things that I do have. And I, like, really love the life that I've built. The backhanded side of that you don't see is that I've also never really had like dreams beyond this. So I think it's easier for me to be grateful of what I have. But I do feel like even when I'm scared, I'm like, well, but I have all these amazing friends and I make cool shit and like, who cares? What, maybe I need to be a bartender again or like, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. That's what I always come back to. So if someone was listening, I would be like, well, what do you love about your life and what feels like it's lacking and like keep doing that and move towards that.
That's a fantastic answer. I also love that Steph has like always kept a clear perspective. I think that is something I have a hard time with is keeping a clear perspective. Like you were saying, Robin, like what would 5 years ago Laura have thought? And yeah, doing things like that to ground you, I think are so important. I also think, my partner says something to me often when I get really nervous about the job market, about the future of things. And he's always reminding me how resourceful I am. That's always just something we talk about. And it's like, the fact that you can kind of create your own opportunities to some extent, like having that trust and that reminder in yourself that you have that ability. Everybody does, to just really think outside of the box and look for ways that you can lift yourself up. It sounds so general.
No, it's not.
I also don't think everyone has that. I'm like, some people are resourceful and some people are not.
Yeah, true. Yeah, try to be resourceful. But also like
you did it.
I think like the biggest one gift I really feel I have is an interest in other people, in talking to people. And that's been so helpful in terms of grounding myself, in terms of learning from other people, how to be better in my career, how to just be better in general. So really just trying not to go too into your shell of panic and keep talking to people is like the best advice I can give someone.
This whole conversation reminds me of when we were getting ready to have kids and Mary was very freaked out. She was very just like, what kind of world are we bringing these children into? Will there be a world for them? But I was talking to one of those good bosses, Tom Calderon. He said there have always been dark periods. He said there was Vietnam, there was the Civil War, there was, the Depression. And he was like, and we still survived and babies were still born. And when I heard that, I thought, wow, all right. And so I imagine there was like a period of time where people were like, oh, there's no more pensions. Like, how are we going to retire? And then everybody got their head around 401ks, or the lucky ones did. But the point is that something shifted in the marketplace. I would guarantee if we were all to leave right now and go ask people, they could probably give you points in times like the Depression is one. There were no jobs. The stock market crash in the 80s, and then the housing index shift in the 90s. Like, there have been lots of times. And so perhaps we're too close to it, and just remembering
totally
like faith in ourselves and in the workplace that, the way I'm talking to my kids about it is like, I'm kind of like, people are like, should you go to college? Maybe they just shouldn't go to college. And I'm like, no, go. Give the market a minute to settle. My son might have 7 years, and like, how different does the world look right now since COVID? Mm-hmm. So like, maybe that's our optimistic moment for ourselves and for other people to say, it's not the first time that there has been shifts, and it will not be the last. And we are resourceful, much like your partner says to you, Laura. We are, we will reinvent ourselves. I think just keep making sure you reinvent yourself.
What's so funny is like, I'll get really like worked up and like, oh my God, we're not going to make rent, like whatever I can think of in my head, and I'll loop on that. And then my mom does this really annoying thing where she will call me and be like, how are you? And I'll be like, I'm good, like, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, how are you really? Like, are you going to make it? Like, are you, and she'll like sort of like dig into me. And I become like an MMA fighter in the ring. And I've never been like more confident about like anything when she's like that. Cause I'm like, fuck you, like, I'm amazing, like, we're gonna do fine, blah, 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 blah. And I never, like, put that in my head together, but I feel like I need to be more of my, like, MMA fighter self to myself. Like, why am I wasting that on my mom when I could be, like, championing myself?
Yeah, well, but now you know where that voice comes from. That's the person who made that button for you.
We all just need to have a little Steph's mom in our brain.
All right, before we wrap, I want to ask each of us, what's the thing you just said, Steph, you need to be more of the MMA fighter?
I think I need to be more of the traveling bohemian right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think I'm like a really good student, and I need to stop, and I need to like go and do things and like have fun.
I love it.
I love that.
Does that mean making more shit too?
Yes, of course.
I'm going to say I think I need to be more optimistic. I have to believe that it isn't the end of the world, that there is more possibility, and that I will figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, this has been such a really interesting conversation. I'm so glad you brought it, because it's just like, I think many, many, many people are in this place of trying to figure out what the workplace looks like and what their place in it is, and feeling confident they still will have a place. So I'm so grateful that you reached out and wanted to chat about this. This was a great conversation.
Me too.
Your it was just such a pleasure. I loved it.
If anybody wanted to watch some of your things, or is there a place maybe you wanted to send them that they could check out some of your bohemian lifestyle, if you will?
You can go straight to lauraornella.com and skip the ad stuff. Go to the comedy side.
Okay, friends, that is it for today. Many thanks to Laura for joining us and chatting through the state of work today. Well Adjusting is an Edit Audio original series. It's exec produced by Steph Colburn and Robin Hopkins. Our producer is Maria Passingham, and our production manager is Kathleen Speckert. This episode was edited by Oliver Grandis. Thank you to the entire Edit Audio team and to you for listening. Oh, hey, before you take out those AirPods, this show is just for entertainment. If you are in need of help, please, please, please reach out to a professional. Go ahead and get that help. You deserve it.